All right, good afternoon, educators, and welcome to the Digital Media Arts Advisory Board. We're happy to have you all with us. For our virtual viewers, please be sure to mute yourself upon entry. This will help us take note and listen in on the speakers for both college and industry panel. For virtual, again, we want to make sure that we continue with our check-in process. So in the chat, which you should see at the bottom of your screen, please type in your first and last name, job title, and then the name of your school and or district if you're specifically with the district. And then we want to make sure that your name is spelled out, at least your first name, within your frame. So like, for example, you'll see my name, Ari Lawson, and then VitalLink. If you want to just put your name, or if you want to put your name and company, that works either way. If you need help updating your name, please let myself or Sherry know. We're happy to help. If you'd like to do it yourself, you'll click participant at the very bottom. A column will open up and you'll click more and then rename. All right, and then for VitalLink events, if you have not heard, VitalLink is officially wrapping up our 2023 Pathway Day tours. We've had over 15 tours completed so far. That included Huntington Beach Union High School District, Irvine Unified School District, Newport Mesa Unified School District, and Tustin Unified. So again, if you're ever interested in having your high school students or college students and some middle school students participate in your tours, in our tours, feel free to contact me or Netta and we can get that set up for you. Again, we have a great group of representatives here from the college panels around Orange County. They're going to share about some updates in their digital media department. Then we'll take a brief 5 to 10 minute break.
I've been making it work.
Please be sure to mute yourself. Thank you. And then we'll have a quick break. And then we'll continue with our industry panel. And then we do have a brief Q&A that you can complete with your phone. And you'll just scan a QR code. If you prefer a link sent directly to you, we will have that shared in the chat as well. All right, so we are going to kick off with the college panel first. So I'm asking all college panelists to turn your camera on. If you are not on the college panel, please turn your camera off. Again, this just helps us highlight the speakers. And then to confirm, we have Miss Caddy from Cypress College. And I apologize if you forgot your nickname, Katie.
It's like Kati. It's
Kati,
like Kati.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then from Irvine Valley College, we have Terry. And then I believe you had a colleague joining you. I do not want to butcher their name.
Yeah, that's her name's Gerçe. She goes by Blue, which
cool.
Gerçe is Blue in Turkish. She'll be joining us later. Hopefully she'll catch us later on. So thank you.
Perfect, no worries at all. Okay. And then from Coastline College, we of course have Miss Angela joining us.
Hi, everyone.
Perfect. And then, if you are entering, please be sure to mute yourself. There we go. Okay. And then from Santiago Canyon College, we have Jorge. If Jorge is on with us, please be sure to turn your camera on. And then for Miguel, are you represented from a college or district, college district?
High school.
High school, okay, no worries. If you could please turn your camera off just for the college panel session, this will help us highlight the speakers. And then I'll now pass it over to Ms. Kati. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. We will start with, I would say we had already introductions, right? But if you want to say your name, title, college, and a brief summary about your department and courses, that would be appreciated. And I think I'm just gonna swipe across the screen and Terry is next to my face. I don't know. So Terry, you go first.
You're next to mine as well.
Okay,
Um,
it's ordered.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Chatku, Professor of Digital Media Art at Irvine Valley College. I've been at IVC this is my 15th year. So yeah, it's been quite a long time. I'm also the chair of the art department as well. And in digital media art, we teach graphic design, photography, and digital video production.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think Josh is our next one, but I'm not sure if he's representing a college or Angela would be the Coastline College representative. Hi, Josh. Are you
Definitely.
also college representative? No.
Definitely Angela.
Okay, hi, Angela. You're up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Gomez Holbrook. I am Professor of Digital Media Design at Coastline College. So we are very pleased to share that we've updated the name from an old legacy title, which was Digital Graphic Applications, and we are now Digital Media Design, as we create a foundation for the students in a simplified 6-course, 18-unit certificate and AA degree, focusing on design principles, digital media business basics, and also supporting our very exciting and consistently growing drone program. So we have a 3-course drone program that would allow the students to learn editing, handling the drones, flying, some fun racing to keep the students engaged, and they get access to use all of the drone equipment that we have. So I think that our Professor Josh Friedman can also jump in, just to talk a little bit more about drones at Coastline, because we are really pushing this rising discipline.
Yeah, for sure. So Angela and I created a program a few years back where we are training students to learn how to gain skills for careers in drone videography, photography, 3D modeling, and mapping for a variety of industries. The obvious ones being obviously anything in video and or photography, but also for construction, for inspection work in a variety of fields, railroad inspection, solar inspection, wind power inspection, inspection, roofing, all kinds of things that we can do with drones these days. They've got, I don't know, 50,000 or more of gear that the students get to fly on, and it's an awesome experience that I will not be in the classroom teaching for the first time in a very long time, but my friend and colleague is going to be taking it over and doing a great job with it. Kent Nerhus will be doing a great job with that.
Yes. So we're looking forward to continuing the exploring drones in the field and for careers, and also drone racing teams. So if any of the colleges want to collaborate, we'd love to work together. So putting the word out there for some drone racing, it engages the students as they learn something that would also be a side hustle for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I think David is up next.
I have a quick question here. Are you in contact with the people at Fullerton College? They have quite an aggressive drone program as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are. So we do work together, and luckily VitalLink has also allowed us to have summer camps where all of the colleges and all of the drone courses, we all came together and created a similar curriculum so that we could keep this growing.
Okay. Just as a side point, on the NBC evening news, I would say at least every other night, there's a reporter standing in waders in the middle of a giant flood with a drone shot looping off and behind them. I don't know if you watch the actual network evening news or not, but I could keep a checklist, check that box, because there they are standing in the middle of a storm somewhere with waders, these poor reporters out there. And it always ends with a really nice drone shot. So I'm seeing it on the nightly news. Katie's laughing.
Party, yes, I'm laughing because it's hilarious. I just imagine that drone flying there in the middle of it.
Yes, there's just so many new aspects. Drone delivery. There's a lot of geographical uses for
Real estate.
natural places, and real estate, of course, and weddings and photography. There's so many applications. So we've got to keep it going.
Just a quick side note, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
So David, are you introducing yourself and your college? Because you're, camera on and you're next. And then also we have one more person with a camera, but I don't know your name. It says KS Nibbe?
Kurt Snibby.
Kurt Snibby. Okay. Are you also representing one of the colleges?
No, I kept getting like emails for a meeting at 3:30 at 4 o'clock. And so
Okay.
I didn't know
Yeah.
what was going on. So I just hit the first one thinking,
So
You're on time. He's for our industry. Yes.
Okay.
for the industry. Okay, cool.
should
Okay.
I leave and come back at 4?
If you'd like to, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm on deadlines right now. So anyways, it's fascinating.
You
I
would
can't
like
compete
to.
with drones anyways.
All right.
See you later.
Soon. Bye. Go ahead, David.
Hi, I'm David Eccles at Santiago Canyon College. I also teach at the one adjunct, the world of the amazing adjunct professor at Fullerton College. So I sort of could, represent Fullerton College too. I know about their drone program and so on. But mainly I'm here from Santiago Canyon College. We have a cinema studies program. I rewrote all the curriculum and so on. And I probably mentioned this at a meeting or two ago, but the competition for digital video production is very strong in Orange County. And we found that might not be the best place for us to compete. Fullerton, Saddleback, OCC, even on the edge of Orange County at Long Beach. There's so many SAC, so many strong digital video production programs, and we really thought we're just going to have a hard time to compete. So we changed our program to what we do better, which is our classroom lecture classes, our history classes. And boy, since we went 100% online distance ed, we have tripled our enrollment. Students really seem to like no Zoom classes for us, but we have added like 6 more sections of our film history classes, and all of our lectures are recorded, PowerPoint, all that stuff recorded, uploaded to YouTube, of course, and PowerPoint slide, and lots of film links and all that sort of thing. And students really seem to love it because they can work their full-time jobs and not have to worry about getting to class or getting to Zoom or anything like that. And our enrollment is just astounding. We're looking for new people. We'll take resumes. We're looking for new people that can teach history motion pictures. So yeah, kind of an odd thing. We sort of lucked into it with the changing of our curriculum, and then with the pandemic. We are thriving in the pandemic where maybe so many others aren't. So that's that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I will introduce myself last. I'm representing Cypress College Media Arts and Design. And unlike David's school, we actually went back full on because our experience was that our students were much more interested in hands-on learning. So we offer certificates and some associates and a transfer degree as well in the areas of design, graphic design, motion design. In graphic design, we do have an associate's science degree. Then we also have cinema classes, digital cinema classes. We have a film and television transfer degree, and we have illustration design certificates, as well as 2D, 3D animation and a storyboarding certificate. So those would be the areas we cover. And our specialty is projection mapping and experiential design, which is now developing into a larger scale thing. And that's it for Cypress College. So are you guys ready for your first question? Yeah, okay. All right. An actual first question. How is dual enrollment improving high school students' knowledge and skills before entering your courses? And again, Terry, if you want to go first, and then Angela and David, we go in that order.
Sure.
Good.
I'll chime in about this. This is our first year of doing a full-on dual enrollment program with the Tustin Legacy Magnet Academy. Last semester, we started with an intro to digital media class, and that cohort has now moved on to video production. And then this coming fall, they'll be doing digital photography. So it's nice to be able to see the students go through different types of course content. In terms of the question, which is, I think it's too fresh for us to know yet quite, how it's going to affect, the feeding into our school and seeing their preparedness. We're hoping that obviously that they'll continue to take digital media courses and expand from there. So if anybody else is interested in dual enrollment, please let me know, and we're happy to broaden our reach to other schools as well. So
Thank you, Terry. Angela or David?
I'll continue that. So we have multiple dual enrollment courses that are working with the college. So I guess it's a couple of answers here, because we offer dual enrollment. So our college faculty actually teach on campus, or we have high school teachers that have been trained on Canvas and have our curriculum and teach in the classroom during the bell as dual enrollment, but they are teaching as Coastline College instructors. So the student is getting credit for their visual communications and digital media programs, but they're also taking our courses. So they're earning college credit while they're, on their regular everyday during the bell in the classroom. And so they're learning a lot of skills, and they seem to be really enjoying it. Some of the one of the programs that I'm working on is a 3-course 9-unit animation and gaming foundation. So it's a 9-unit certificate of specialization. And so the students have taken Illustrator. They're now taking After Effects. And so they're taking the Illustrator graphics and they're working them into their After Effects skills, and they're adding some music. And so they will have their certification with Illustrator, certification with After Effects, and then the 3rd class is 3D animation. So it's a foundation for animation to move forward to a bigger program. So perhaps they'll move on to Cypress or one of your programs that have, a big animation, fine art combination, where they really get their foundation, their skills. But the dual enrollment students are really enjoying it. And I think once students that have taken those type of courses and then they come into my college courses also have the ability to complete the work, to understand the work, to ask questions at a higher level. Our program allows them to learn the skills, the design skills, the tasks for Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, for example, and then learn digital media business basics, and take that information and then perhaps get an entry-level position and learn on the job. So the goal is to kind of get them to where they could get a side hustle, a job, or go into college. But it's definitely a plus. Those students that have taken those dual enrollment courses are very prepared. They are prepared not only for the writing component, for the testing component, for the manual skills as well. So I believe it's very valuable.
Thank you. David, do you have anything on that subject?
Yes, we have, where we have a couple of classes at some of the local high schools. And we also seem to have a lot of students who are just registering for the classes online. I'm not exactly sure why we have both. That's not my thing, I guess, but they, as I mentioned before, students seem to really like the online part. It's a history class. The last 2 years, I really felt for the production classes. I taught production for 20 plus years. You know, a lens, a light, a microphone. How do you do that online? Just such a nightmare. I'm so glad I'm not doing that. I'm glad that we're back now and that all you production people, you know, can be face to face. But for a history class like ours, and I added, we have history motion pictures up to 1945, 1945 to present. And we also have film appreciation, which would be called media aesthetics sometimes, but you got to rename it, rebrand it. I don't think most of the students know aesthetics. And then I wrote curriculum for great directors and film genres. And so these are all classroom, you know, PowerPoint classroom type classes. That's what we were doing well before. And we just have our one last digital video production class that's left. And so these classes, they transfer everywhere. You know, it's like a stem cell. They transfer to UC, they transfer to Cal State, they transfer everywhere else. So everybody wants to take these classes. That's why we're doing so well. The business students and math students and everybody else wants to take them. And the high school students, right? They can get college credit. And so a lot of times I never know if a student is a high school student or not, because I don't see them in person. Maybe I see their little photo somewhere. And sometimes they'll sort of volunteer, oh, I'm working toward whatever, and I need this class and transfer and all that. But otherwise, I don't really have any way of knowing who these students are. The one odd thing, I don't want to make too big of a deal about this because who knows, it'll pull everything to a screeching halt. But in the history of motion pictures, like history, there's a lot of R-rated stuff. You know, I mean, if you're talking about if you're talking about the Spanish Inquisition and a history class, that's kind of R-rated. But these are film classes, so we have you know, The Godfather and Pulp Fiction and you know, Blade Runner and Goodfellas. And sometimes I wonder, you know, I guess everything's there. It's all online. Who knows what students are seeing? I kind of suspect that some of these 16-year-old kids, it's like their first R-rated movie. And sometimes I wonder about that, but I don't really say anything. And the clips that I show aren't R-rated. And then when they have to choose a film to do, there's a list of a dozen or so films. So if they or their parents don't really feel comfortable with them watching The Godfather or Goodfellas, they don't have to. That's the only thing that I sometimes wonder, you know, how that's working out, because I don't know. I don't know who's 16 and who's 19.
Yeah, thank you, David. I want to just again end it with this. Cypress College had a really interesting high school experience day. We have a totally new dean who kind of rebranded our division. In fact, we are now going to be called Visual and Performing Arts rather than Visual or Fine Arts Division. And we had a day when we had 300 high school students visiting, which was insane. We were really excited and also stressed out. And we did all these comprehensive workshops with them. And absolutely, I know that everyone is really open for dual enrollment. We would love to have more high school students joining us. And as Aurea says, we have 10 minutes and we have a lot of questions. So for the next round of questions, guys, let's make it fast, okay? We have question number 3. What real-world experience does your class offer students that will benefit them in an entry-level career? Go ahead, whoever wants to take it, Terry, Angela, or David.
Yeah, I'll just answer this real quickly about, we try to have real world experience through our projects. So for example, in my video class, we have a promo video that we try to do different versions for, with a longer version, a shorter version for social media. Blue, my colleague, who's not here currently, but she has a branding class where she works with people in the communities to see if they have any projects or logos that they may need. So she's successful in terms of getting the students connected with working in that way. That sort of thing, involving the community, involving real world projects.
That's awesome. Angela?
Our 3D animation instructor is a professional, so he works all day in the industry and then he brings it to the students. So they work on projects that he might have a project that he gives them a question that he's working on or that has been worked on. And so they get up-to-date projects in 3D animation. We also have digital media business basics as part of our certificate of achievement, as well as the AA degree, which gives them an opportunity to create a freelance business, create all the business documents to go out and file those documents, as well as create their logo and business letters, and work with resume editors. So it gives that real world touch.
Thank you. David?
It doesn't really affect our program. We're, all history. I could say go see Avatar in 3D with a laser projector, which is important, frankly. That's the business side, the business and streaming versus theatrical experience and all that. But otherwise, we don't really have real world experiences.
Thank you. At Cypress College, well, I'm the only full-time faculty currently at the department, so I'm the one who's spending their lives working with teaching, and I have industry advisors, obviously, but everyone else, the adjunct faculty, actually works in the industry. We have somebody who works in the film industry, we have somebody who works in the animation industry, the graphic design industry, so the teachers themselves are professionals. And then also we introduced the internship class last year was the first time we offered, which really, really successful, because our students now have to actually learn how to work with somebody out there, a client, and it is a huge learning curve. It's really interesting to see all the gaps and needs that needs to be filled, how to be professional, how to show up on time, how not to freak out from feedback, and so on. So that's the real test at the end of their education. Question number 4, everybody. This is a 2-part question. Yes.
I just had a quick comment about working with clients.
Mm-hmm.
And when I taught video production, that was one of the hardest things to get students to understand, that you're not making the video for you.
Exactly.
For the client. Don't pick your favorite song.
Yep.
Client's favorite song. If they like country and western, then that's what you got to go with.
Yeah.
And they kind of had a hard time understanding that it's not for me. It's not about me. It's not for me. And good luck, because that's tough.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's super important. And when I was a student, it was really difficult to jump in on that boat, to finally make something for someone else and just shut my mouth if I thought it was horrible, because I needed to focus on getting paid, right? Paying the rent and eating is always number 1. Okay. Question number 4, 2-part question. Can students receive a certification or badge after completing your courses? How many hours, credits must be completed to receive certification in your courses? So I'm pretty sure everyone has an answer. Let's make it fast. All right.
Yeah, at IBC, there's a certificate of achievement for digital media art. It's supposed to be all encompassing in terms of graphic design, photo, and video. It's about 21 units right now. We're revising it. It may expand a little bit larger, but in terms of the required units, it's about 12, and that's, it gives you a good grasp of all the fundamentals of digital media art. So that should take about 2 years to complete.
Thank you. Angela?
Yes, we did streamline our certificate of achievement to 18 units. So it allows them to complete the courses in with 6 classes. Again, it's a foundation and it's also an AA. So there's the same series of courses and it becomes an AA. So it's stackable. And each one of those, all of our courses that are Adobe have a certification. So we, I don't know how to give you how many hours they would work on it, but for instance, right now, one of my students just finished a certification exam. While we were talking, I was watching and proctoring his exam, and this is what week 12. So it's an online course. The students have been given projects, the skills, LinkedIn Learning, Cert Prep, and I give the midterm is the exam so that they get an idea of what they need to study, and they start taking it around, midterm or a little later. And so he got like 957 out of 1,000, which really did fantastic. So they're coming along great. The high school students took Adobe After Effects certification last week, and half the class passed it, which is fantastic because it was a brand new prep for me. So it tells me that the course and the modules and the information was face-to-face. It's my dual enrollment class where I teach face-to-face on campus at a high school, and half of them did pass it. So we're doing really well. I'd say about 11 to 12 weeks of 2 projects, reading, video, and practice, and about 12 weeks in, half the class is passing Adobe certification.
Thank you, David. Do you guys have any certifications, or you're
Yeah, we do.
transferring?
We have producing certificate. I'm reading this. I had to pull it up because I couldn't remember. Producing certificate of achievement in cinema studies. It's 15 units. And as a side note, I was an Final Cut Pro Apple certified instructor for many years until they went in that odd direction. Yeah, so that dates me a little bit, but yeah, that was my production time. Thanks.
Thank you, David. At Cypress, we have a lot of certificates. They average on at 18 units, so it takes about 2 years to complete. We have 3 in animation, and they meant to be basically, if you take all 3, you have a quite comprehensive understanding of the industry. We do have now a stackable graphic design certificate that fits into a graphic design degree, because I actually attended Viral Link and I saw that that's what you guys are doing. It's a great idea. So, hey. And we do have film certificates as well as 2 illustration certificates. But I wanted to check on, our time is up in 2 minutes. I can ask one more question, or how do the organizers would like to handle this? Aria, are we continuing with the questions? Because we have 4 more questions to go.
Yes, ma'am. I would ask if you all can jump to the very last question, just to share any final knowledge of advice.
Okay, sounds good. So the final question, you guys, what advice do you have for high school educators who are preparing students for careers in digital media arts?
I would say try to demonstrate your passion as best you can, understand the importance of deadlines, and also understand the importance of providing and receiving feedback.
That's a great advice. Angela, what are you going to top that with?
Well, I think that we're all in the same, Katie, I agree. We're all learning from each other. So I love these advisory meetings because we can all, learn. I think it's really important to also design for diverse audiences and acknowledging cultural differences and avoiding stereotypes, because it's in our area, adding diversity, equity, inclusion to our curriculum is challenging because it'll have to be visual. And we don't want to tell them what to design, but that is something that we all need to practice.
Thank you. David?
I think if we looked at any of the last 5 or 10 meetings, that the advice in this part, you could copy and paste it into right here. Those nice soft skills: learn how to write, learn how to follow directions, be creative, think outside the box, learn, skills and things. I don't think really this has changed. If we could pull up a couple of years ago, I bet it's pretty similar to what we're saying right now.
I know I wasn't asked, but learn.
I'm asking you,
everything-
Josh. Hi.
Learn everything you can about AI, because AI has just changed everything that all of you teach. Nothing you are teaching is relevant anymore, except for the basics. AI will be what you would need to be teaching moving forward if your students are going to succeed. That has changed drastically, and it's just happened in the last 6 months.
And so
Yeah.
sad and so true. Yeah.
Yeah,
also-
if I can
Go ahead.
add that adapting to rapidly changing technology, tools and design trends are so important.
And it is rapidly changing even more than ever. But I also like to add for all the high school educators, one of the things I notice is that a high school student straight out of high school would come to my class, have a jolly old time, not turn in a single thing, and think they will pass. So I think there's a huge adjustment that needs to happen between college and high school. Just you have to turn in your work, and there are deadlines, and the deadlines need to be met. And no matter how cordial we are and how much I joke in the classroom, it is what it is. Deadlines are deadlines, assignments are assignments. And that's, I think, maybe something that could come with them. Thank you, everybody. And I guess Aurea is going to take over because that was our last question and we are out of time.
Nice
Ah,
job.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
so great. Thank you all so much for sharing all of your knowledge. We truly appreciate your feedback and advice to the high school educators. And thank you, Ms. Cotty, for moderating this college panel. I truly appreciate your help. Everyone in attendance, we are now going to go on a quick, I'll say 10-minute break. Please do not log off. I've set the breakout room. I don't want it to delete anyone. But if you'd like, you can mute or unmute. You can come on camera, off the camera. It's up to you. As long as you can hear me when I say that we will reconvene.
So just to, hi everyone. All right, recording in progress has happened. Hi everyone, I'm Kati Angulov and I'm the chair of the Media Arts Design program at Cypress College. And I am going to ask you questions. So the first question is your name, your title, and your company, and a brief summary about the company, please. And the way I see the panels, Cliff is my first one, and then Bindru, and then Snibble. What's your name, Kurt?
It's Kurt Snibby.
Kurt Snibby. I love your name. Okay, Kurt will be the third one I ask, so we can go in that order. Does that sound good? Okay, Cliff, you ready?
Yep. So my name is Cliff Brunson. My title is Senior Manager of Creative Art and Digital Marketing. It's a corporate in-house creative team, so and a in-house digital marketing team that I'm responsible for, acting in the capacity of like a creative director, developing creative strategy and digital marketing strategy for the company. My company is Beckman Coulter. It's a healthcare diagnostics company based in Brea. It's a global company, and we focus on building diagnostic instruments and products that will help people get to a diagnosis faster and get on a path to care. So we make things. Here's like a 3D model of like the instruments that we make. They test blood, urine, all kinds of diagnostic tests that help people get to that diagnosis. And I think that's it, right? So brief summary of the company. Anything else?
I think that's it for the first one. Thank you so much. And do I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Bindu?
Yes,
All right,
that's very correct. Well, yeah, my name is Bindu, and yeah, I'm a CEO of Flair Dev, and I started my journey as a graphic designer at IVC. So I think one of Flair is like I know someone. So almost 20 years back, it has been a while. After that, I did my web designing, database, marketing, UI, UX. Now I'm kind of more on the strategy side and data driven and mostly AI. I know somebody said like AI is a future. I would say AI is a present. I wouldn't say it's a future. It's something, it's there already, and I am using in every tool and every strategy even. I'm also an advisory board at UCR, University of California, Riverside. And there we have a group of people that we talk about all the trends that is happening in the industry nowadays. So it's really good to throw out the ideas there and how the students can be benefited with the real world experience.
Thank you. Kurt, you're up.
Kurt Snibbe, I'm with the Orange County Register, which is part of Southern California News Group, which is part of Digital First Media. So one of the titles I have is graphic artist, but I'm really a journalist, a visual journalist, a designer, a researcher, illustrator, and graphics. So I wear a lot of hats, and I produce what we call the focus pages, which are 2 broadsheet pages a week. They run Saturday and Sunday in print, and then we do more stuff online when we can. But that's basically what I do, and the work gets circulated in Digital First Media properties across the country now. So I used to just concentrate on Orange County, and then we were part of Los Angeles. So I got to, branch out into all the counties around, and now we're, dealing with California and San Jose and all across the country now. So it's a little bit of pressure, but it's fun work. I like it a lot.
Thank you, Kurt. We have our next question, which is such a question, 2-part question, guys. Does your company offer internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing, or volunteer opportunities for students to gain experience? If yes, what is the age requirement? So go take it away, Cliff.
I'm not quite certain on that, because our graphics department has, unfortunately, it's shrunken quite a bit. It's been a tough 2 decades for news industry. But I know we have internships for college students as reporters, photographers, and I think potentially we could do something with graphics, particularly online graphics and data journalism. So if someone was to approach us and say, what do you think, here's my portfolio, I think it's a possibility. I don't want to say no, but again, I don't hold the purse strings. I'm just a little peon in the big machine. So, but I would hope we would encourage everybody that is interested in journalism that they can be a part of it.
Thank you. Cliff?
I can say.
Indu, okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, sorry.
That doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make sure everybody talks. Go for it.
So yes, answer is yes for all of those questions. Like if we are providing internship, yes. I actually work with many education system around here, like Selbach District. El Toro is where my daughter goes, so it's I'm very involved there. I also am involved with the UCR, and in the Selbach there are a couple of the schools, OC Reed. So yeah, I'm looking for the interns. Last time I did this advisory board, I think I got like 10 applications, and all are working. So that's great. And when we talk about the internship, if they're working for any like a profit organization, then they get paid. And if it's nonprofit, mostly it's unpaid. They get like for the experience. What another question was your what are the positions or something? I believe,
think
right?
so. I think that would be really nice if you let us know, because you do graphic design, web design, data-driven stuff. So what kind of interns are you looking for?
So mostly the social media interns and also the content writer. I know ChatGPT and all the AI tools are taking over, but still I like to be more authentic and legit when it comes to the content. So yes, on the content writer and on the website, especially the WordPress website developers. So if somebody is looking for it, yeah, feel free to email, send the resume, and we can go from there.
And I'm so proud of you to stand up against ChatGPT. Yes, real writers are better.
That
Yes,
doesn't fly
yeah.
in my career.
Cliff, go for it now. It's your turn.
Yes, sorry, Cliff. Yeah,
Not
if I
at
took
all.
over.
No problem. My dogs have been barking at the door. So
Okay,
probably a
good
good
then.
time. If it's too disruptive, just let me know and I'll run over and grab them. They should stop soon. So the short answer is that I reached out to our HR team to find out what our internship programs are. I'm fairly new to the company, so I haven't had the opportunity to bring on interns yet. I definitely would. I would definitely bring on interns that are in their college career, getting going through graphic design program or whatever, but or even a digital marketing program. I would definitely be interested in. I'm not exactly sure, like I mentioned, what the procedures and policies are, if there is time spent in the company that could like equal college credits. I'm not sure exactly like how those things work out yet, but I did reach out. I just hadn't heard back yet before this call.
So we're gonna come back to you, Cliff. You're gonna get all these like follow-up questions like, look, Cliff. All right. Questions. Sorry, I'm looking at my own list. Would your company be interested in supporting local high schools programs in digital media arts and apprenticeship opportunities? And I guess since you are on Cliff, you can take that.
So personally, I would. I just need to figure out what those policies are, if there are any policies set. I know that we do, our recruiting teams do like job fairs and things like that at colleges, but I'm not sure to what level they're after recruiting. So is it internships? Is it full-time? I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely going to look into it.
Thank you. Bindu?
Yes, 100%. I would love to help the high school around here. Matter of fact, as I said, like some of the students are already helping on those graphic side, also on the website, especially coming up. I know few other events are like a 5K events, so they will be helping on that, making the flyers also on the website. So I coach them, I train them aesthetic wise and the user wise, how it should be projected, how it should look like, and what the measurements or the metrics we can measure. So those stuff. So I coach them and I take it from there.
Thank you. Kurt?
Yeah, we've done, well, particularly before COVID, I used to do a graphics workshop at UCLA. That was a couple days. And we've done the same thing for high schools. And before COVID, I used to go out, kind of had like a little traveling road show, and I'd take the work and show because a lot of high schools, I was really surprised and honored that they still read the paper. And some of my pages have been hung in the classroom, particularly like when I touch on business or science and things like history, particularly. So we're willing to get out there again. I think, a couple times a year we could maybe do some more graphic workshops and try and inspire high schools, because they're still doing journalism now. It's completely changed this industry than when I started in the early 80s. Yeah, I'm kind of up there now, but there's still a need for it. A lot of people say there's more need now than ever, but are they going to pay you for it? So that's the thing, but our online readership is blossoming, while our print circulation is kind of just hanging on by its fingernails. But the communities and all the reporters that we have in our newsroom are still, they have a lot of passion to get out there, and certainly high school journalists should be involved in that.
Thank you. The next question is really, I think, pivotal for all of us educators. It's a two-part question. What top 3 soft skills should entry-level employees build before hired? Why are these important? And yeah, go ahead, Kurt, since
Okay.
you're on the stage.
Well, I was thinking of the 3 that I thought when it was communication. Obviously, I'm in a communication business, and you would be surprised at how sometimes poorly we communicate within our own walls. Not that we have walls anymore, but in the sense that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So you want to go up the chain of command and make sure the word gets out that I'm covering this story. And you can also get a lot of help that way. So communication is important. I think emotional intelligence is something you really have to, when you're in the media, it is the middle, and you're going to get shot at from left and right, and you got to just duck and just report the facts and do your best. It's a difficult discipline, because you can't put your opinions in anything you do. To do it right, you have to be non-biased and let the facts do the talking and tell both sides of the story. But then as a person, you feel like, someone's always going to yell at you. But that's not always the case. I don't want to scare anyone off. So emotional intelligence, and that we're covering this huge community in all walks of life. So you want to really embrace that, and don't put yourself in front. You want the readers to be your guide, not your own personal interests. But I always so that's more of like a self-awareness thing. Giving the readers the information they need is always your highest priority. This was huge for us during the COVID pandemic, where we worked tirelessly because most of our readers are older and they were in harm's way the most. So we did our best to get the word and accurate stories out to them. Excuse me, I gotta have some tea. I'm not used to talking that much. I'm a caveman usually in my little computer screen here. So one other thing, like self-awareness too, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of deadlines. You have to meet the deadlines. You can't, that's one of the biggest faux pas in the news business. And it's not easy to juggle all the stuff you got to do and turn on a dime when news happens, and you get really invested in the stories. And sometimes it can be depressing when you're doing, another mass shooting story or, crime every day. It can wear you down emotionally. So you want to have self-awareness of where you are and take care of yourself and make sure you don't crack under the pressure sometimes, because it can beat you down. So sorry to take so long.
Thank you. Who would like to go? Bindu next?
Yeah, I think he covered almost everything. And I love when he said like emotional intelligence. That is something is very much needed. I wish I was there when in my teenagers. That is pretty helpful when they come into the real world. Adding to what he said, definitely deadlines, having understanding, communication, those are definitely the big takeaway there. I'll add to that is being tech savvy. Obviously, if they are, it depends in the marketing or the digital media, it depends where they are. Either they are doing graphics or web design, anything on the UI, customer journey, whatever they work on. The important part is to be on top of the technology. So it's very, because if you lose that track, it's hard to catch up. And I can tell I'm doing for last 20 years. So that's very important to do that.
And it's always changing. So for the last
It's always
10 years, you
changing.
never stop. That's what I tell them too. It's so true. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They didn't even have computers in my college when I went there.
Yes.
And not in the art department. So, yeah, I've learned a lot in the last.
Yeah, I would agree with everything that that Kurt and Bindu said. Communication is key. I think being able to communicate and manage people's expectations or your clients' expectations, internal clients or external clients, you know, either way, managing their expectations and meeting those deadlines, I think is very important. Also, you know, Kurt, you mentioned communicating up the chain. I think a lot of creatives struggle, especially right out of school and, you know, entry-level jobs, struggle with communicating in a way that is going to make sense on a business level to, you know, a CEO, a VP, you know, a CCO, anybody that's kind of up the chain that's more on the business side and focused there. One of the talk tracks I attended at Adobe Max a couple of years ago was all about communication, and the term that they used was speaking khaki. So, you know, it's speaking to the suits. And if you're living and breathing in art and you're living and breathing in a creative space, sometimes it's hard to make that switch. So being able to communicate on the terms that the person you're communicating with is going to understand and like really resonate with, I think is really, really important. Emotional intelligence is key too. I think having a growth mindset is key. A lot of these things are kind of like buzzwords right now because of how important they are. So, you know, I think putting a lot of weight in those is really important. And the one thing that I would add is just being able to collaborate. Teamwork, working on a team that's, you know, full of diverse skill sets and different people on the team, I think is really important to be able to learn how to work together with the team. My son goes to El Toro. I see McElfish on the call. I think he was in one of your classes at Serrano. And he was talking to me one time. So he's 15 now, and a freshman at El Toro. And he was talking to me one time about a group project he was working on. And he was like, I'm the only one on the team that is like actually doing anything. It's so frustrating. I was like, yeah, this is my everyday life. This is what we do all day long. We're frustrated with the people that we work with because, you know, a lot of people don't develop that collaborative kind of skill set. So I think those are all kind of the big ones.
Thank you, guys. And actually, just to piggyback off of that, I teach one projection design mapping class, so it's totally a teamwork, and it's amazing because at the end, those kids come out and they're like, wow, we made a thing. I could not make it alone. I had to pull my weight, but everybody had skill sets that were different from each other. And I also agree, like, collaboration is very difficult for an artist because we create our own thing. And now we have to create a thing together. Okay. Number 5, 2-part question. What top 3 technical skills would you suggest an entry-level employee have when starting their career, and why are these important? And I guess, Cliff, since you're on the screen, go for it.
This is a tough one because I think it's specific to the role or the discipline that you know, the student's going into or the person's going into. So obviously, if you're on like a graphic design path, having a basic understanding of, you know, any graphic software, Adobe Suite is, you know, it's kind of a given. But anything else outside of that, so like whether it's getting into 3D or into video work, like having just the basic understanding of the software that's used to create those things. It's a little bit hard and it's kind of tricky. You know, Kurt, you mentioned that you didn't have computers when you were going to school. We had computers, but it was like, I think Photoshop 4 was like the hot thing when I was in school, and maybe 5. But when I went to school, we learned everything by hand. So I did, you know, hand lettering, and we did hand, you know, lithograph stuff. We did everything by hand. We learned design. We didn't learn a program. I think it's kind of flipped now, where you could go to school, you could get a certificate in Photoshop, Illustrator, any Adobe product, and come out and just be a like ready to go production artist. I think the design ability, the learning composition and color theory and layout and all of those things that just make up a good basis of design for any art, for that matter, I think is kind of where I would put all of my weight. Just because having that understanding of design and art and the creative process is core to what all of these roles are. The software and the technical thing is just the thing that you're going to use to like execute it. So I kind of go back and forth, but basic understanding of the the software set I think is a given.
Thank you. Who wants to go from there, Bindu or Kurt?
Yeah, sure, I can go. I agree with Cliff. Like this question is something is very, it varies because in the marketing or even in the design or the digital art, the title wise, the role wise, the technical skills differs. So if it's a graphic designer, definitely you need all the Adobe Suite background, obviously. In my opinion, it's not sufficient just knowing the Adobe Suite because that's just a tool. If I have to go, honestly, I learned the tool like within like a 2 or 3 days, but how to implement that is something different. Like he mentioned color theory and all those stuff, you go to school, but again, that is something you don't take the certification in. It's about something learning the skills. If it's something related to the SEO, search engine optimization, then you need something different. If it's website related, then you need more tools. So it can be the various tools, the technical skills, depending on where they are going towards. I feel like the graphic designer today is just not, they are limited to the Adobe and the creative world. They need to learn more than that. Even on the analytics, they need to learn on the data side. So it's because when they have to design a flyer, so it's not just the visuals, they are talking about the data, how it should be projected there, what should be the visual hierarchy on that, who is the user, who's the audience, who is reading. So it's learning all the customer side too. So it's very in depth if we see the tools are not enough. I do have some intern, they said, okay, I am pro in Illustrator and I'm pro in Photoshop. Unfortunately, that is not enough today. So knowing the other side of the table is very important.
Can I ask you, how do you, I don't know how an artist would learn that, in what type of, should we recommend our students to take business classes? Because it's really interesting. It's a different part of the brain as well.
Yeah, the good thing is how I learned, and that's what I think it was a really good exposure to go into the real world. So doing the internship volunteers work, that is like give you so much of idea what's going out there, because that is the real time project they can take in. They can definitely go to the business, they can take more certification, they can take more associate degree, and they can go one step further. But until they come into the real world, it's hard to say. And especially for the graphic designer or web designer or any on the marketing side, it's like you have to be industry expert. So I can work with the education, I can work with tech company, I can work with IT, real estate, you name it. So, but you have to be expert on that industry expert. And going into that industry, you will not learn until you go into there, expose yourself, until you take in. So those, in my opinion, it's very important to learn from those exposures there.
Thank you so much. Kurt,
Sure.
you have something to add?
Well, there's you're all saying that I work mostly in Photoshop and in Illustrator, but I would say you got to learn content managing systems too. So we're posting everything online in WordPress, so you have to learn that. And I started, like I said, we didn't have computers. I started pitching news art stuff, and I had to work on an old Apple that we would download from the Associated Press. And so I'd be in the middle of making a map and it would just stop and download this stuff. It was so irritating. And then I learned PageMaker, and that's gone. And then I learned Flash animation. I went to college to learn that, and that's gone. And then I learned freehand, and it's gone. So it's great that you're just going to have to prepare yourself to learn new stuff and keep going. But the basics of what I do, and there is art involved. It's not just writing, but it's a hierarchy of design, because one of my goals with every page is to make the reader draw them in and have an interesting experience. And visuals are still the king. That's the currency of the kingdom in graphic arts. You want to get people in, not to cheat them in, with just for clickbait or whatever, which you see all over the place. But if you have an interesting element of art, eyeballs are gonna naturally come to it. So however you can do that with just illustration, which I learned just because I love to draw, and I never really studied it. I probably should have, but I spent, the better part of my lifetime drawing cartoons and painting and sculptures, and that's kind of led me into this journalism world, which is all about current events and history and stuff like that. So I don't know, technical stuff is, you got to have the Adobe suite, and Cinema 3D and some flashy stuff like that works. The data journalism stuff, there's been kind of a shift, because an art department like the New York Times can spend, put 6 artists and 6 months on this huge data map thing, and then they might only get 500 hits on it. But we can't afford to do that. And we've also found that kind of static graphics that you can scroll through, like a map, and here's a story, and here's a chart and a story. That's a lot of what I do. It works on every type of phone. It works on every type of device. So it's not as many bells and whistles, but I'm not saying, I don't know if bells and whistles is what our readers are really looking for. They want information they can use. So that's that.
Thank you. Next question. What certifications are needed to be successful in this career field? A lot of you already touched upon that. Yeah, go for it, Kurt.
Okay. Well, you don't necessarily have to have a college degree, although if you want to be a journalist, that's probably a good thing to get. But my point is, for graphic arts in any field, it's all about the portfolio. It's all about, you can go to the biggest, fanciest school in the world, but if you don't have a portfolio that you can put in front of somebody that shows your skill levels and shows off what you've learned and your own ideas and gives your individual accomplishments, then you're not going to get very far. So that's like the most important thing. Certifications are great, academia is great, but you got to put together a nice portfolio. It could be online. It could be, I used to hand like a manila file folder with samples in it to people. Gosh, I'm old. But nowadays I would put it all online and say, here's my website. I did these projects, and that goes across the board for all graphic designers, I think.
Thank you. So agreed. So agreed. Bindu?
Yeah, I second that. Yeah, you don't need to go to Yale, Harvard, Ivy College for that, no matter what. For this field, you definitely need experience and portfolio. That is something is must, and in-depth knowledge, whatever they are doing, either it's a content writer, graphic designer, anything on the SEO side. And again, like if we talk about SEO, it's just not like a basic Google ad. We are talking about all the Google suite. We are talking about the AI. We are talking about the virtual reality, big data, cloud computing. So it's like a in-depth knowledge. Nobody asks, honestly. I never ask any of my people to see the degree. Where did you do that? Did you go to UC or did you go Yale? I ask for the experience, what kind of experience you have. And when you start talking, you'll find it out what kind of knowledge he or she might have. Yeah.
Thank you. I
I
see
add something to
David's
this.
hands up. Yeah, I see David.
It seems what a lot of people are saying is that it's important to be able to learn new things. And as Kurt has said, he started back, and I started editing, physical film and then videotape, RM440, all that kind of stuff, then getting into digital media. But it's important that whatever you learned in college, you're still gonna, at some point, have to maybe pick up an instruction manual or something and teach yourself a new skill. And, because when you get out of college, you think you're up to date, but in 2 years, you're not up to date anymore. And if you can't learn new skills, then you're really going to get left behind. So whether you go to the YouTube videos or pick up a manual or are self-taught, but at some time, you're going to have to learn a new system, something new, something brand new in your life. If you're going to have a 20 or 30 or 40-year career, all that technology, it's going to change every couple of years.
And the machines you're working on.
Yep.
Thank you. Cliff, you have input on this question?
Yeah, I agree. I think a degree is nice. An MFA is nice. A certification from a 2-year college is nice too. So I would agree with everyone on having a portfolio and showcasing, most importantly to me, your creative process, your understanding of the goal, and your ability to kind of articulate how and why you made the decisions you made in order to achieve or meet that goal. To Bindu's point about becoming an industry expert for all of your clients, I think that is 100% key. As designers, as video producers, for the most part, every creative discipline that I can think of, we're here to solve a problem in a visual way or in a creative way. And so really understanding what the goal is and being able to articulate how we can help the client get to that goal or achieve that goal, I think is huge. So it's less about making a flyer, building a data sheet, making a video. Is this video going to do in return what the client is after? And I think being able to think a little bit beyond the deliverable is huge. So when I interview people for entry-level positions or even for senior positions, that's what I'm looking for. I'm less concerned about where somebody went to school, what they studied, and those types of things. As an example, I didn't hire her, but my lead designer, my senior designer is I think her degree, she has a master's in theater, but she has an AA in graphic design. She's managing brand strategy and developing identities for a lot of the products that we have. And so there's so much knowledge that you build up just in doing the projects if you can think beyond the deliverable. And I think that's the thing that I focus on.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to check again with Arya because I know we have very little time left. Would you like me to ask the last question again? Or we have 3 more questions but I feel like we almost answered.
Yes, I would just say the last question.
Okay. All right. The last question, you guys. What final advice do you have for high school and college educators who are preparing students for the real world careers in this industry? Whoever wants to take that. Kurt, you're taking it? Okay.
I have a thought there. And this has helped me in my career, is that you got to find something for someone that they don't even know they need. There's a knack for that. If you can invent something in art or data, journalism, and tell a story that nobody else was thinking of, that's gold. And you can do that. You can there's always a way, a proper way to apply for work and do this and that. But if you can find something that a company that you say they need this, you need this, that's a good way to get in. So try and search for that.
Thank you.
I will say to get some experience and in the school and the college, I know it's a strong statement, but I would say if it can be a mandatory experience before they come out of the high school, that would be great. So that they are already prepared. So instead of having just a 25 hours of community service, I would say add at least 10 hours a year. And I think it's very doable. If they work on weekend or something, it's very doable in a year. That would give them a good experience and what's going out there, and they will find a way to do it. So I believe if it's like a mandatory, that would be great to have it.
That's a great point. Yeah. Cliff, your closing statement.
So I think the advice that I would give to educators to prep students is exposure. There are so many different avenues that a creative can take these days, especially with all of the, even with AI coming on board, there's so many different avenues that you can take that I think just showcasing that all of those possibilities is huge. To date myself, when I was in college trying to figure out, what I wanted to major in, I always knew I was into art, but I had no idea what the world of graphic design was or meant and how it could really shape a career. I grew up in a home with a Chinese mom, and it was, I'm going to be a lawyer or a doctor. That was the thing. Those are your careers. My dad was an accountant. So none of those things stuck with me, but I couldn't convince anybody that a career in art or a creative career was even a possibility. So all that to say, just exposure to the different paths that a creative can take, I think is huge.
Can I add something to that? Because you really brought up a memory. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a psychology major in college, and then I started working in mental institutions, and it was really hard. I didn't have the personality to someone having suicidal thoughts to say, here's my card, go to the ICU and I'll see you next week. And I would worry about them. It was really stressful. And that's what led me into my passion for art and design and journalism. So sometimes you learn what you don't want to do, and it'll lead you to where you want to be. So that's just kind of what I'd like colleges to help kids and network for them and give them exposure. That's a perfectly great thing to do. But you don't always know when you're young where you're going to wind up, but you just got to keep striving for it. So knock on all the doors you can.
Community colleges are awesome because that's when you can try all that and not get into a huge debt. I fully believe. I've been in private schools. It is great that they can take a graphic design class, an animation class, learn what they don't like and what they like. And I think, thank you guys so much. I feel like Aurea came on, so I think she's ready to make the finishing statements. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I truly appreciate all of the industry professionals' feedback. And I want to thank you all for joining us. Again, we truly appreciate all industry panelists. And then for those who did join us, be sure to also check out the VitaLink website. We had some amazing programs throughout the school year from August. And then our biggest competition, of course, is May 6th at Saddleback College. It is going to be a hot day, so I'm hoping it goes by fast. And I know this summer in June, we're kicking off our summer academies. And then, of course, before we go, I have shared the survey evaluation link in the chat. You can also scan the QR code if you'd like, or if you want this email directly to you, let me or Sherry know. But your feedback is truly appreciated. This is for all educators, industry. If you want to fill it out, that works too. But yes, high school and college educators, please share your feedback. And then that is all for the day. Happy Friday. Please enjoy your weekend, and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. You do a great job on the Zoom thing. I don't know how you, it's like flying a F-16, it looks like.
I got so much training during that year we don't talk about anymore, Kurt.
Well, it's paying off.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
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 Thank you, guys.
Oh, Paul, be careful, please. You're driving. Okay.
It is that whatever you are most comfortable with.
Okay, there it is.
Give me just a moment and I'll email that to you. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. As soon as I get this over, then we will get started. Looks like we still have a couple more joining us. All right, that should be the top of your inbox in just a moment. But now I have to get back to those questions. I'll open it up separately. All right, well, welcome everybody. My name is Josh Friedman. We are all going to introduce ourselves in a moment, so as long as I'm already chatting, I will keep this very brief, but I am the owner of 10 Digital Media. We do video production, photography, and audio production. I have taught at Cypress College and Coastline College and Saddleback Community College and West Valley College and Cal Poly Pomona. I'm missing one, but either way, I really enjoy being part of education, and oddly, we're not so much. A lot of the videos that we make are for education. So we produce videos for half the community colleges in the state and the chancellor's office. And we just finished our 9th high school district this year that we are producing videos promoting their technical education programs. So very involved in video production, photography, ground and sky. We do a lot with drones and all of the education systems. So let's go on just real quick, briefly. Give me your name, title, company, and summary. I will call people out in the order it's on my screen. I'm going to go with everybody. I don't know who's who, frankly. So I don't know who's a panelist and who's not, but there's only 16 of us. So Stacy, let's start with you.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, I'm Stacy Schaefer. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing Operations and Business Intelligence for PBS SoCal KCET. We are together the primary PBS station here in Southern California.
I need a Department of Business Intelligence in my company. I love that title. That's awesome. Alexandria, thank you so much, Stacey. Alexandria, you're next.
Hi, my name is Alexandria Batchelor. I am a solopreneur, freelance art director, comic book colorist, and illustrator, so I'm a multi-hyphenist. I operate under the name Foxy Design. I do art direction, graphic design, comic production, illustration, and I work mostly in the entertainment and media sector of the industry.
All right, next to it looks like Caroline Wong.
Hey everyone, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Caroline Wong. I'm the Director of Communications and Custom Content for Southern California News Group. We have 11 local daily newspapers and associated websites across the LA DMA. And prior to my role at SC&G, I served as the senior producer for Fox Television Station's creative services up in LA until I got tired of commuting 4 hours a day every day.
I can't imagine doing that commute.
I can't now either.
My bedroom is 3 doors down. Angela, I know we've heard a little bit from you with Coastline, but we may have had a couple new people join us. So we're just going over name and who you work for and what you do.
Sure, I'll keep it short. Angela Gomez Holbrook, Professor, Digital Media Design, Department Chair at Coastline College.
That was pretty concise. I appreciate that. And Pam, it looks like Pam Coleman.
Hi, I'm Pammy Coleman, and my company is Pammy's Studio. I'm located in the city of Orange, and I make business videos for small and medium-sized businesses. I'm also the house videographer for the Small Business Development Center here in Orange County, the Media Marketing Lab as a business consultant also.
Love that. Man, I haven't been to that place in the longest time. I'm glad that it's still up and running and you're doing what you're doing there. That's great. It looks like Maria Nadal.
Yes, hi. I teach at El Toro High School here in Lake Forest, and I do multimedia, computer graphics. And yeah, that's everything.
Well, thank you for being here. Terry, you're next, even though, again, you had some time to speak already, but for those that might have just joined us, go ahead and just tell us who you are and where you're from.
Sure. Thanks, Josh. I'm Terry Chatku, professor of digital media art at Irvine Valley College, also the chair of the art department there. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm probably incorrectly assuming that the rest of the people in the room right now are all faculty at schools that are here to listen to the panelists. If I am wrong, turn your video on and let us know that you are a panelist, because I don't have a list of who is. They'll be answering questions for those that are here to appreciate our answers. And I like that Pam has a phantom note taker that's in our room as well. I love it. All right. So everybody else, I'm assuming, is from one of the schools that is here to listen. Feel free to ask questions if you have them of us, but I'm going to jump right into the questions in order. We might skip some because of time. There's a two-part question here. Anybody can jump in to start. Does your company offer internships, apprenticeships, job shadowing, or volunteer opportunities for students to gain experience? And if so, what is the age requirement? I'll tell you what, raise your hand if you offer internships or volunteer opportunities. Okay, great. I see 3. So I see Stacy, Caroline, and Pam. Stacy, go ahead. What are you offering?
We do. We offer paid internships. We're currently in the interview process for our summer internship. So we'll have another round probably closer to the summer for fall. And those are paid internships. No age requirement or class requirement. We want to make it available for a variety of, people who are in college or even high school. There's a chance to for everyone.
And where is that located if someone's interested in interning?
We are primarily remote. With an office in Burbank and Costa Mesa.
All right. I'm just going in order. I see Caroline, you had your hand up as well.
So we offer internship opportunities, paid internships only, with the caveat that the student has to come with their own funding. So basically self-funding. College students only, and primarily newsroom based. So certainly open to artists interested in being visual journalists.
In what location?
Like Stacy, we're also primarily remote now, but we do have an office in Irvine. So that's a place where, I'll often see interns working with our other editors.
All right. And Pam?
I just had a meeting with the Santa Ana College because this is something I'm interested in doing, paid and non-paid internship. And I have different facets, from everything from learning project management to social media position, and also technical as far as videographer and editing. And I'm not sure about the high school because I don't know what all that would entail, if it would need to be remote only, because I do have a studio here on my home property, and I'm still finding out what all needs to be involved in opening that up to high school students.
All right. Thank you all so much. I'm going to go to the next question. Would your company be interested in supporting local high schools programs in digital media arts with apprenticeship opportunities? I'm going to skip that question. Raise your hand if you are interested in doing that. I think we can, yes. So I think we're all looking for high school students that we can, in some way or form, help, mentor, give them opportunities as apprentices. So, Alexandra, do you want to add anything to that? Because we haven't heard from you yet.
Just not really set up for internships right now, but I can do job shadowing, especially remote, easily to screen share and just show what I'm working on and for like an hour or two, however many hours per week that they are available to do so.
It's very nice of you. And same here. Pam, go ahead.
I'm also a big sister through the Vitalink. And so I've already gone through their background checked and live scanning and whatnot. And I really enjoy it because not only just things that pertain to my business, but because of my different experience, I really like to be able to be in a more mentoring and position with high school students.
I see you, Angela, but Pam, really quickly, who is the contact person at Vitalink that's in charge of that program?
I guess I first went through, I think, Shannon, but then Aria is the one that connected me with, and then I'm with Antoinette.
Okay.
And Gabriel.
Okay. So if it's anybody, any of those names we could reach out to if you're interested. Angela, I see your digital hand.
Yes, I just wanted to add that, Alexandria, you are correct. Job shadowing is in high demand, and some of my high school dual enrollment students need 3D animation mentorships and internships, either one for their future senior projects. So we're kind of helping them look for some people, but yes, the mentorship is also very welcome if anybody has that and doesn't have a specific internship.
All right. Thank you, Angela. Number 4 is my least favorite thing to talk about in these meetings, and I do about 30 of these a year. So I'm going to answer it. If anyone wants to add anything, please do. And if not, we can keep going, but don't feel like you shouldn't. The question is about soft skills. What soft skills should we expect our entry-level employees to have, and why are these important? So again, this is something that's the same over and over and over. We want people who can talk to people. We want people who can write well. We want people who can present themselves well, represent the company well. Social skills are a benefit. And I have always said I would never hire anybody that I wouldn't want to spend time with on the weekend, because we work 7 days a week and I will be spending time with them on the weekends. So does anyone want to add anything to that? Yeah, please go ahead, Caroline.
Yeah, so throughout my career, I've always worked very closely with designers. I love designers. Designers are awesome. They make work, fun. They make projects sing. One of the things that I really see as value is designers who are also excellent project managers. People who know how to take a big project and break it down into tasks and then stay on task, stay on deadline, and then communicate with that person, whether it's me as sort of an internal partner, if that designer also has the skills that they can work client direct, that's like gold. And really being able to kind of explain their projects, explain their vision, so people who are non-visual understand where the project is going and what the artist needs in terms of time and resources to get them there. I've seen people who create stunning visuals, but they can't manage a project out of a paper bag. In the same way that I've worked around amazing writers, but you give them an entire project to manage and, they might, have a misstep. So those project management skills are so key.
Carolyn, you really touched on a lot of things that is very important, because my being a creative and also having that side of the understanding that you have stakeholders and you have external and internal clients, if you will, and being able to understand that you have to be on time within budget, and also you have to have contingencies and be able to understand the scope of work. Do not go off on a tangent because you're a creative and you think that your ego is bigger than the project at hand. So I really think that that's something that no matter what discipline, that if students can understand, or any entry-level employee can understand, that that's going to benefit them in the long run.
Stacey, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with my colleagues here. Clear and concise, effective communicator, project manager, all that. And I would just also add soft skills that we always find helpful are people who are curious and agile, curious to learn new things, try new things, willing to experiment, and really kind of be flexible in their work experience is always a great opportunity, or helpful, I would say, and a helpful skill for future candidates.
All right.
And this is a new hand, Josh, just in case you thought I didn't lay it down.
I'm gonna give you a high five every time I see it.
May I? So
Oh, yes, please.
I just wanted to, I teach a digital media business basics. And so they're learning to create their freelance business and really get out there. So in a nutshell, I'm going to give you a list that we touch on and we discuss in their discussion forum. So communication, active listening, empathy, adaptability, and we talk about the details, but I won't tell you, won't do that here. Problem solving, time management, attention to detail, open-mindedness, and teamwork. So they cover all of those for an awareness. I'm not saying that everyone's capable, but those are our soft skills that we work on.
I think it's hard to find people that are capable of all those. I'm not capable of all those, and I run the business. So. But one of those is time management, so we're going to keep going, which is the one I'm worst at. So same question, but with technical skills, and I realize that we are all in slightly different disciplines. If I may jump in first, in video production, I've been saying for years, I want people for entry-level positions to show me that they have some experience with After Effects. So we do Adobe Premiere for most of our video production. We use Adobe products. And I've always seen that if there is a student, especially out of high school or early college, that has some experience with After Effects, it shows me that they went above and beyond what most of their peers did, who were all taught Premiere, but didn't really do much with After Effects, but they actually went and did some research on their own and learned how to use it. So that's always been kind of a litmus test for me. But again, back to what I stated earlier, learn how to prompt AI. Prompting AI is the new gold, oil, US dollar, whatever you want to call it. If you, as a young digital creator, know how to do that, you will be the most valuable person in the industry within the next year or two. So who else has different skills that they are looking for entry-level employees? I saw Stacy wave a hand first, then Caroline.
For marketing and BI, skills around, experience with social media is always helpful. Creative writing, I think, was also mentioned in terms of if there's experience in some of that, as well as experience with data entry and analysis, as well as the Google platforms from a marketing standpoint, whether it's Google Analytics or Campaign 360 or DV360. There's those are applicable, I would say, across different areas within marketing, and all give opportunities for growth as people grow in their careers.
Perfect. Caroline?
Similar to what Stacy said, certainly the Adobe Suite, we do a lot of our design and InDesign. Also WordPress. So all of our 11 newspapers that have associated websites like the Orange County Register, the Press Enterprise, Long Beach Telegram, all of those websites are run on WordPress. So people who have WordPress skills are helpful. And then to Stacy's point, certainly, the Google Suite, understanding how to move content around folders, understanding folder structure, that's super important.
I still have professionals in different fields that don't understand how to join in on a Google Sheet. And it blows my mind. I'm like, we're trying to collaborate here. And they're like, yeah, we just don't know how to do that. I'm like, wow, okay, well, there you go. Find an 18-year-old because they'll show you how to do it. Alexandra, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes. I know you mentioned earlier, like research, that's actually a really important skill that I feel like is undervalued, whether it's like trying to figure out how to do something yourself. Like I went to school for design, but there are so many things that are constantly coming up in the industry, and being able to go on a YouTube, video or an article and learn new skills is really valuable, but also applying that research to, like, let's say I do branding a lot. And so if I'm making a logo and I'm trying to look for imagery and symbolism, you have to research what you're pulling from. And that kind of goes into wanting to be more aware and creating diverse design. And you don't want to be like potentially offend a particular part of your audience. So I think research in just basic design or writing or whatever medium is so important if you want to create a really meaningful, impactful, and not controversial product.
I think research in general, I mean, and then we'll get to Pam, but I have an editor that I asked recently, have you ever done subtitles in Mandarin? And her response immediately was, I haven't, but don't worry, I'll figure it out. Cool. Thank you. Next day it was done. And then I, of course, prompted her to show me how she figured out how to do it because I was curious what resources she used, right? But I didn't have to teach. She just figured it out on her own and knew she would be able to do that by just doing research. That a lot of employees don't do that. So, Pam.
I really like what a lot of you all are saying because I agree. I also think that, and I couldn't tell if someone mentioned this, like understanding CRM and how to be able to use, whether it's anything from, I can't even think, like ClickUp or something like that, or even Slack and Monday and different things, how to be able to collaborate with your team, how to, charter documents and things like that, just be able to understand the basics. And then no matter what company you work with, that whatever software they use, you understand how a structure would work. And then also, I find that sometimes people don't want to read. They don't want to read a book that could really kind of bring them up on just what's happening on the marketplace or how to do, like Alexandria said, do research. What do you need to do to take a deeper dive, whether we're going to pitch a company or we're trying to stay on brand with them? You can't just anime and Game of Thrones and think everything is going to be based on that type of style guide. So I really think that understanding, just theory and being able to not just do what you like, but understand how others have really brought things to the marketplace that we all benefit from.
Very good. And for those that may not know in education, and I'm not mansplaining, I apologize. And I love, by the way, this is like an all women panel that I'm on right now because this never happens in my digital media world. So CRMs are content resource management software. Most businesses have them to keep track of clients, to keep track of emails, to keep track of sales and things like that. And whenever someone joins a company, they should be able to learn quickly how to use those. So, all right. What certifications are needed to be successful in this career? Anybody think they're not needed? You may or may not be wrong.
I think they're ever changing, I mean, we're going to probably see a cert in artificial intelligence and at some point.
I'll tell you, Huntington Beach High School, again, we've been doing videos for technical education for literally 400 or 500 videos. Huntington Beach High School has completely changed their entire computer science class to from programming to programming AI. And that's from the beginning of the school year. All he has done for them is teach them how to program to create their own AI, to create more content, and then also just programming AI and getting data from AI, because you're not going to need to learn the code anymore. It's all there. So that's changing. What else?
I think it depends on the role and the job. I think for some, like more technical, like data role, if you have SQL certifications or Google Suite certifications from Google Analytics to some of the other ad planning tools, whereas other positions that are maybe marketing managers or social media, something like a project management certificate, Six Sigma or something like that would be beneficial for anyone's career. I also think that LinkedIn Learning is a great source. And when there's an entry level position and they can see what the requirements are, maybe they don't have the requirements, but maybe they use that to go research some LinkedIn Learning courses, did a certificate there, and then came prepared at the interview. I've also had people who were interviewing for a job do that, and it was a wow factor for us. So LinkedIn Learning I think is also a maybe not a hard certificate, but a helpful one, and for people to prepare as they go into maybe an.
Thank you. And Angela.
High five.
I've known Angela, by the way, for like 12 years. It's really good for us. I'm giving her high fives every time.
My buddy Josh. I just wanted to say that something I didn't mention before, and I think is super important now with the ever-growing drone careers. We at Coastline offer 8-hour training online, including the classroom curriculum and the testing voucher. So we pay for the student to take their pilot's license test because we learned from our dear Josh Friedman that students, once they're flying and are taking photos and videos, they shouldn't be able to transfer them legally without the pilot's license. Correct? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
So we need them to be licensed so they can actually get a side hustle, use the videos, photos, and so on. But I think that those are important, and we're handling it for our students, paying for those vouchers.
I've always thought the most valuable certifications are those that are requirements of an industry. So if you're an EMT, you have to have CPR certification. Otherwise, you can't be an EMT, right? So those are obviously valuable certifications. And the Part 107 drone certification enables students to be commercial pilots and to use their drone for business, basically. Then there's the other certifications, which are those that just show skills and upskills. So I'm still a big advocate of all the Adobe certifications if students can get them. And also Microsoft certifications, I think, are still important just to see that there's, a student who puts some time into learning PowerPoint, whether they use it or not. But those are also, I think, sort of fading off as we are evolving into different ways of doing things. Can we move on? Next one. All right. What technological advancements have been made in the industry, and what would be important to add to high school curriculums? I think I've said a little bit about this already, so I'm going to be quiet for a moment. Yeah, Pam, and then Alexandria.
I don't know, maybe just some kind of basic course in project management.
Alexandria?
I'm not sure if this is being taught currently, but UX UI design is really big, and there's a huge demand for it and a lot of empty jobs because a lot of people don't have those skills. And because of that, it's even, you can either go to a boot camp and a certification and even enter the job, and entry-level jobs pay so much. So that's a really good in. And for more context, it's like app design, and it also leads to web design and responsive web design. But I think that's a very valuable skill that a lot of kids would benefit from, especially if they want to get like right into the market, because there is a demand for that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely what's trending now on the marketing side is that customer journey and that user experience from a full 360 view, whether that's building awareness and the tactics related to building awareness to your campaign all the way down to conversion. So marketing technology and the stack that would be required to build out personalized marketing, because that's really how the industry is with the clutter that's happening in the media landscape. Being able to do more targeted, personalized promotion and utilizing the technology and the MarTech stack needed to do so is that's data integration, that's building a customer data platform, that's doing targeted ads, user experience, et cetera. I think that's definitely what is the focus for us and within the industry today.
All right, we have a few more questions, but I want to take a moment because we have 6 minutes left. I don't want us to get cut off. Do any of the educators have any specific questions? And it's okay if not, but I'll give you guys an opportunity now. If you have a specific question you want to ask to anybody on the panel, I know it's 4:45 on Friday, and so most of you are drinking at the moment. I mean, no, most of you are ready to go home. All right, then I'm going to skip to the last question because I just don't want us to get cut off. Which is, and by the way, was someone supposed to take a picture of the group? Did they do that? And then I'm going to get to Maria's question. Zoe's laughing, right? This is coffee in here still. I'm just saying I'm addicted. So it really is.
Before we head back to the main room, though, I'd like to, I'll take a big picture of the group. I can do it right now, though. I'm just going to take a screenshot, pretty much.
Okay. I want to respond to, while people are coming in.
We could do that. We'll do that at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. Just the last question.
I want to respond to Maria. So where can somebody get AI training? My recommendation, there's two places, and you're not going to like one of them at all. One of them is jump onto TikTok and Instagram and watch a bunch of reels that teach you how to use AI for all kinds of different things. You could literally just go on and do a search for how to AI. Most of what I have learned have been 60-second tutorials. I've literally written books. I wrote a book in 30 minutes. I wrote an 80-page book on how to use ChatGPT, which was written by ChatGPT. I'm going to be publishing it in the Amazon store. So you could literally, ChatGPT is free. You could go onto it, ask it how to use itself, and it will teach you how to use itself. The value is learning how to prompt things. So you can ask it a question and then modify the question and modify the question and modify the question so that it gives you, more specific answers. The other one I would recommend right now for everybody is Journey, Midjourney. Midjourney, you can try for free. You can make a certain amount of images. It is an image creating software that is incredible. I mean, I could say, I want a picture of a redheaded male playing basketball wearing blue shorts on a billboard. And then boom, it gives me 4 images that are going to be something along those lines, most of which look really realistic. And believe it or not, Adobe Stock site is allowing people to upload AI generated images as their own right now. So there are people starting to make a lot of money on stock photos that they created with AI. So my recommendation is what Nike has told us to all do. Just do it. Just do it. Or jump on YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials on everything. All right. What was the AI image? Midjourney. Midjourney.
Yeah, they did something where they showed red taxi cabs in New York City or puppies with wings. It's kind of.
I mean, there's all kinds of amazing art you can create. The only thing that I've found a really.
But I mean, we're talking real videos that are actual that look like it wasn't generated artificially. It's kind of scary too.
There's also an incredible video on YouTube. Just look up Disney animator watches AI cartoon. So there was a group of filmmakers that made an animated short that is unbelievable in anime style of the two of them with a battle of paper, rock, scissors. And it's a great thing to share with your students. It's about 20 minutes long, watching an actual Disney animator who's been making Disney animations for his whole career, 40 plus years, watching this cartoon and just commenting on how he's going to be out of work soon. All right, I didn't want to use up all the time. Any last minute advice for the high school and college educators who are here of how they can prepare students for real world careers in your industry? Nobody? Real world experience? All right, Caroline, go ahead.
I think kind of going back to the beginning of our conversation is helping prepare students to understand that they are not going to operate in a vacuum. The kids who are future entrepreneurs or marketers, that's not the only people they're going to be interacting with. They need to learn the language of how to talk to designers. They need to understand, the difference between RGB and CMYK and why, a 72 kilobyte file is not ideal to print in a magazine. Learning some of those basics. And in the same way, designers, learning how to speak the language of the advertising executives, learning how to, in my industry, certainly work with journalists or become a graphic journalist or photojournalist. So, find your people, but don't let them be the only people that you interact with. Create those bridges because those are going to be your extended group of colleagues when you enter the professional workplace.
Great advice. Anybody else?
I would just note again back to curiosity and being energetic when they're entering a new position and have a willingness to try new things rather than this is the position. I'm here to work my 9 to 5. I'm just going to check the boxes off and I'm that's it. When we're hiring for entry level positions, we always say what someone lacks in experience, they make up for in enthusiasm. And that's really what we're looking for in the potential to see someone grow within their own career, within the organization, if they have some of those qualities.
Either one. Pam.
I really like what Caroline said because it's true. We all think whatever is going on in our coming to age generation is really kind of makes everything else null and void. But you have to be able to speak to people outside of your own age group or out of your own interest and be able to kind of just go back a couple of generations and look at look at Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton. Go and look and see what Disney did with animation, in the very, very beginning. Look and see what other countries and whatnot are doing too, because you realize that what you know is just your first step.
All right, I'm looking at that video for you guys right now, but go ahead, Alexandria.
Oh, sure. Riffing off what Pam says, I think it's so important to expand your interests. And that kind of goes to my point where I think students should also focus on having and developing their own voice as an artist or designer or wherever they are. I agree, like you should definitely be adaptable to be like, not your style and your interests are not always going to align with what you are doing at a job. But I think even with your own personal work, especially if you're going to pursue something like freelance, having your own style and is going to be really impactful for getting gigs. I always thought like maybe I should conform a little more, but I've gotten insane opportunities just by leaning into what makes me me. So I think that's important not to get lost while in getting the technical aspects of things down.
Hard to discover that though. It takes a lot of training to get to what makes us us and what makes our voice unique in what we do.
It takes years. Yes, I'm 10 years into it and finally starting to figure it out and got plenty more time to do that.
Still figuring it out. My only response to this would be teach your students every aspect of whatever the industry is. So I've been saying this for a while, but we no longer, I'll say video production, we no longer live in a world where you're just a camera operator for the rest of your career, or you're an editor for your career. Those careers do exist, but if you are an editor, you have to understand sound design and you have to understand audio production and, Foley and all of that in addition to video production. And you become a better editor if you're a really good camera operator. And I think most of the high schools are doing a good job of this, especially in video production and graphic design. I'm seeing that the students have opportunities to do everything, encompassing, but also teach your students that they don't have to do it all at once. You can learn one skill at a time. I'm 43 years old and still learning different skills in my field, but I've definitely mastered some of them, but I didn't do it all at once. It took me a while to get here. One more. So first of all, I put in the chat that video I was talking about of a Disney animator reacts to AI animation. It's a great video. It'll take up 20 minutes of your class time between now and the end of the year also. And then the second thing I want to share, I go to a lot of trade shows. Very little blows my mind these days, but there is a company called Krotos, Krotos, that has a Foley development synth software. So for those that want to do sound design, Foley, sound effects, instead of having to record anything with a microphone, it is all synth based. And so they have categories, footsteps, you pick what type of shoe, male or female, what surface they're walking on, and you click, 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 click. There's a $30 version of this software that is amazing for teaching Foley, for creating background sounds and sound effects and sound design. So it's new. I've never seen anything like it. They're the only company doing it. And I think your students will be really impressed by it. And it's $30 for their basic version of that. Krotos, Krotos. All right. Well, I guess we're wrapping up.
It's really nice being amongst all of you.
Thank you all. I'm glad, same. It's a wonderful, wonderful panel to be on. I hope to meet all of you in person one day. Or we'll just all keep working remote forever, I want to thank my dogs for not barking. Oh, a picture, quick picture. Everyone turn on your video. I hope it doesn't kick us out before we do it. Sherry, do you want to count us down? 3, 2, 1, so we'll smile. Sherry, you're muted. Or Cherry. I don't know if it's Cherry or Sherry, sorry.
I am muted. Okay.